Watch a crowd at a concert for 30 seconds. Hundreds of strangers, arms up, moving to the exact same beat, at the exact same moment, with nobody counting them in. Nobody taught them the steps. And yet somehow, without a single conversation, they're all doing it together. That's not entertainment. That's a 300,000-year-old survival system still quietly running in the background of your body, and almost nobody knows why it's there. Picture the obvious explanation first because it's the one everybody defaults to. Dance is fun, dance is expression, dance is just something bodies do when music happens. Great story, mostly wrong. If moving together in rhythm was only ever decoration, it wouldn't show up in every single human culture ever documented, with zero exceptions, going back as far as evidence exists. Universal behaviors aren't decoration. Universal behaviors are usually solving something. So what was the problem dance was solving? Because the answer isn't romantic, it's tactical. Go back to a hunting party moving through tall grass, spread out, tracking something that can smell fear and hear a snap twig from 30 meters. There's no time to shout instructions. Shouting gives you away. What that group needed instead was a way to move as one organism without saying a word, and the tool for that already existed inside the human nervous system. Rhythm. Here's something researchers studying coordination have found repeatedly. Humans synchronize movement to a beat faster and more precisely than almost any other species on the planet. Chimpanzees, our closest relatives, don't reliably do this. Most animals don't. Somewhere in our evolutionary path, the ability to lock physical movement to an external rhythm became something close to a superpower, and it didn't happen by accident. A group that could move in unison could also fight in unison, flee in unison, carry something heavy in unison, cross dangerous terrain in unison. Every one of those situations rewards synchronized bodies and punishes uncoordinated ones. Dance, in its earliest form, probably wasn't a performance at all. It was training. Repetition that built the same neural wiring a hunt or a fight would later demand under pressure, except practice somewhere safe, around a fire, before it actually mattered. That's the piece almost nobody connects. The steps came before the crisis, not during it. But synchronized movement alone doesn't explain everything about why this stuck around so hard, so universally, for so long. Because something else was happening in those same fire-lit circles, and it has almost nothing to do with tactics. Push a group of people to move together, same rhythm, same repeated pattern for long enough, and something measurable starts happening in the brain. Researchers studying group ritual have found that synchronized movement releases a cascade of neurochemicals tied to trust and bonding, the same general family activated by shared laughter, shared danger, shared fire. The body doesn't just perform the movement, it rewards the group for doing it together, chemically, automatically, without anyone needing to understand why. Now stretch that same synchronized movement past its normal limits, not minutes, hours, repetitive, rhythmic, uninterrupted, often paired with firelight, chanting, or exhaustion. Something else starts to happen, and it's the part of this story that gets buried the deepest. Anthropologists studying trance states across dozens of unrelated cultures, separated by oceans with zero contact between them, keep finding the exact same pattern. Long, repetitive, rhythmic movement reliably pushes the brain into an altered state, not metaphorically altered, measurably altered. Brainwave patterns shift, time perception distorts. The boundary between individual and group starts to blur in ways people consistently describe the same way across wildly different languages and belief systems. Think about what that actually means. Long before language could carry the full weight of grief or crisis or a decision that could get the whole group killed if it went wrong, the body already had a system for processing exactly that. Move together, long enough, hard enough, and the group didn't just feel connected. Something in individual consciousness briefly gave way to something shared. That's not poetry. That's a documented, cross-cultural, repeatable phenomenon, and it predates almost every belief system built on top of it. This is where the survival angle and the trance angle stop being two separate stories and turn out to be the same story wearing two faces. A group that could move as one body in a hunt was the exact same group that could think, briefly, as one mind around a fire. Same mechanism, same synchronized rhythm, different application. One kept you alive during the day. The other held the group together well enough that there was still a group left to protect the next day. That's what makes dance different from almost every other ancient behavior this channel has covered. Fire gave off smoke that altered the brain by accident. Dance did the same thing on purpose, using nothing but bodies and rhythm, completely renewable, completely free, requiring no plant, no flame, nothing external at all. If smoke was the first altered state humans stumbled into, movement might have been the first altered state they actually built. So why does almost none of this survive into how we talk about dancing today? Because somewhere along the way, dance got split apart. The tactical half turned into sport, drills, marching, the parts of coordinated movement we still take seriously because they're obviously useful. The trance half turned into entertainment, something you do on a Friday night with a drink in your hand, disconnected from anything resembling its original function. Both halves survived. Almost nobody remembers they used to be the same thing, which brings it back to that crowd at a concert. Hundreds of strangers, arms up, locked to the same beat, feeling something they can't quite name, calling it fun because that's the only word left for it. What's actually happening underneath is much older than the song. A synchronization system built for hunts and coordinated survival, quietly running the exact same trance mechanism ancient healers used on purpose in front of a fire, with none of the original context left to explain why it still works. The rhythm hasn't changed in 300,000 years. What changed is that nobody's telling you what it's actually for anymore.